How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to Upside DIY. So now I've got this small piece glued. Half of the tape is still exposed and sticky. I'm gonna try to fold it or bend it, and then clean off. I'm gonna have some glue, basically, right at the edge, maybe at the very tip of this also. I don't know, but I need to bend this like 45 degrees or reuse or put stuff like that away or reuse and soften it up. So this is basically holding down the glue. I also use the sock with my other hand to keep things a little cleaner and things. I might have messed up with the foam piece might be too thick, so that off of the foam piece. Alright, so there's a little small foam piece. And I could trim it up a little bit. So there's this side, and then there's this side. So it's almost identical. It's just a little bit more. I kind of feel a little. I'm getting ready to Velcro, kind of like one of the last pieces for this GoPro piece. So it's gonna be pretty good. I'm hoping, and I'm not gonna try to Velcro the clip. I don't know. I'm just gonna try this, and it's gonna be a hand camera. But the only problem, kind of gluing a few things, the light, this is wood glue, like one coat of it, and things are going to dry up pretty good. Give it one coat, and it's going to attach to this GoPro. And I already glued in the top Velcro. It's a small piece, and I did leave like a quarter or a half of it unglued. And when I attach the light, it's going to connect, or pretty much and it's going to have more of a surface, I think, too. I could have curled it, so I cut the whole length, I think, and I've still got to cut a little small piece, and then I'm going to do the same thing, I think, the whole length. And then I've got this extra piece, so I'm going to attach it kind of on both, or on on the on the cover, or the top side, something like that. It doesn't really have to. It's just gonna always be on most of the back side, so probably just need one piece of this a little bit, but this is going to be a pretty decent point of view, or just a hand camera. This camera won't be able to zoom in or out or anything, but it's going to have a nice flash to it. And the same thing with helmet cam. It's got these two flashlights, so I think that's how and a bicycle light. But you know, uh, with what I'm working with and stuff, and what people are gonna see, you know, YouTube. So this is the adapter for my Windows 10, the power adapter, which is in this duffel bag. I've got the a shock case for my smartphone, but the smartphone, the one that I'm using to record, is off and on, but I've got the shock case. Could be a pretty good exploring camera. I also have a tripod for it. And then just sorting out a lot of my cameras. This is an Alcatel Windows 7, and I've got two Fire tablets. There's actually a Fire tablet underneath there. They're pretty good for playing videos, I think, with some of the memory cards. It just depends. And with most of this stuff, I also have extra USB cables, and I'm going to be gluing, and this is an extra USB-C, so I'm going to add epoxy. Actually, I'm going to try to mix up a little bit of 5-minute epoxy, 3 cables, so 4 cables, but I only, and one of them is a USB. So because these USB, this is a solar charger, I think. So somehow, and even the compass might not work that good, but unless I'm outdoor. But they use I would call it a USB 2.0, but it's probably just 3.0 and there's 3.1, and also um this digital camera. Yeah, I also need to glue the basically the cable. I kind of like feeling, and this tripod that I have for it or something like that. I could probably redo, and then I've got this one. It's pretty glued, pretty good, but add. So some of these are for the power banks charging up. Each power bank has two outlets. So, and then I've got pretty much like this spare handheld camera that needs, but I don't want to mix up the camera. Well, this is USB-C, so I got it on to a lot of stuff. I might, and I kind of like this tripod just because it's easy to handle the camera when I'm handling it and stuff. I could just hold it at the tripod and stuff and close it if I put it away. And also I could probably use it to line or make things straighter with it. And basically, and that this came with the micro telescope, the mini telescope. So probably need something straight to make sure it's straight, and then at least the camera's straight, and then another. So yeah, we got quite a few things to epoxy or silicone. Have that stuff like a, so yeah, the power packs are kind of for this stuff, and then even tethering a solar power pack and stuff like that could be pretty useful. I just need to um, finish gluing the GoPros. And yep, I'm gonna bring all my USBs out. I should find like a shoebox or something to keep them organized. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of these cables eventually. They're all gonna be cleaned with rubbing alcohol first, and then I'm gonna glue them. So I'm just gonna put it on top of the box, and then a piece of mainly just this Velcro. And what I could do is just glue this on first, and then glue the bottom, hopefully. So I kind of clear out a few items. So when I start to glue this, I'm gonna have this box available, or this area to epoxy, and I've got this pocket camera, basically USB-C. It's 64 gigabytes. Keeping in mind the 32 gigabytes and 64 gigabytes, but this could go up to 128 gigabytes. But these two cameras are going to, if I don't have a smartphone or something like that, or yeah, these are going to be my main. This is for a close-up, probably 5 feet away, and this has a zoom, so that could be. But this one, the battery isn't really that good. It drains like 1 per minute and things like that, but it may be useful. So I have that stuff like from. So this might be the main exploring camera. I just have to really get used to the menu. There's different options down here. Can be a useful. So I've got this tripod from the mini telescope, but I think I'm going to use it. I might use it mainly for this camera just because it kind of matches, and these legs do open up. So a lot of people use cameras with tripods just because it's a lot easier to hold on to rather than, around the bezel and stuff like that. Yeah, so it doesn't really interfere with the cover in exploring camera, and then it's got the tripod for this, but even with the power pack, so I'm going to try the power pack. So the camera already shut off and things, so I've got a power pack right here with the power cord to help charge. So I've got the power pack plugged in, or the camera plugged into the power pack. Then now the camera flash and everything is on. It's recording a little bit. So, you know, it's going to be a tough decision, even though this camera is really versatile and stuff. It works with this power pack. So the power pack's getting drained a little bit. Um, it will last a lot longer, and it does, kind of respond or, accept the power from that. So now I'm replaying a video. Um, you know, and these GoPros might be able to do that if, and daytime or nighttime, depending on the battery life. For that way, just make sure. So this whole piece right there, and then I could just shift this piece around, or this camera doesn't have to be exact, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have this folded in half, just the whole length of this. So I cut the other piece, and that's that piece, and then I'm gonna go get the um, factory piece. So I got 3 of these with the one of the GoPros kits, and I've been putting, so the hard plastic Velcro side, or the hard side of the Velcro, goes onto the GoPro. So I cut off the hard side, and I think it's still, too wide, but I'm gonna have to work with what I've got and probably glue it underneath. So that's the hard side, and then the soft side goes on to the, and I can also like cut this soft side, just a portion of it. So I cut the whole length, I think, and I've still got to cut a little small piece, and then I'm going to do the same thing, I think, the whole length, and then I've got this extra piece. So I'm going to attach it kind of on both, or on the it is. So that's most of this video, and I've got this epoxy stuff ready. The pieces cut, so finished up a lot today. So I got, these 2 GoPros finished up, and then I've got this bicycle, or this helmet, the spare helmet liner and everything on the inside. And then I pretty much siliconed the outer edge of this, so it's going to be a lot more durable. It's not going to like break up or fall apart. So I got these goggles finished up, and got to bend this like a 45-degree and things. So, and this rubber, or this foam piece, I got it from like a floor mat, piece of a floor mat. It's going to help pretty much putting Velcro the flashlight. And then I've got a lot of these cords epoxied. It just took a